So we're going to take a minute here today and talk about how do I read my insurance report. So we previously did a video on how do I file an insurance claim if I have damage to my home. And part of that process is the adjuster gives you a report on the damages that they see. And so I just wanted to take a minute and talk about what that report looks like. I remember the first one of these that I saw. I was in my early 20s. My wife and I had lived in a duplex that we had bought and lived in together. And then we moved into another house. And shortly after we moved out, tenants actually caught the house on fire and did a lot of damage. It was kind of a messy situation. Everyone was okay, no one got hurt, but did a lot of damage to the house. And so the insurance company came back to me and emailed me this 90-page report of the damages, and I had no idea what any of it meant. No one really walked me through it. I didn't understand. So I can definitely relate to not knowing what's going on with these reports, and depending on what's happened to your home or what the damages might be, your report's going to be anywhere between maybe 7 to, like I said, 90 pages. Most of the claims that we work on are storm related, so wind causes damage to a roof or a tree falls and knocks some siding off the house. They're most of the time straightforward projects. But nonetheless, these reports can be fairly confusing because of the way they're laid out. So I just wanted to take a minute, walk you through what the different parts mean and what you can expect both from the insurance company and for the contractor that you choose to work with. So this is a report for one of my properties. It was one of my rentals. And so the first thing is on the cover page, you're going to get a cover letter. Depending on the insurance company, the cover letter looks a little bit different. But it's going to have all the details of your claim. It's going to have the adjuster's name, who may be different than the adjuster that came to your house. Sometimes that's a field adjuster, and the desk adjuster is the person who's actually responsible for your claim. So have your adjuster's contact information. It'll have the claim number, which you're going to want to have if you ever have to call in and you have a question. And then just some other basic information like the date of loss and the date that the claim was filed. So then after that, you can see in this report, and again, it's several pages long for a property that's really not that big. It breaks everything down by slope and elevation. So when your insurance report talks about elevations, it's just talking about the side of a house. So if it says front elevation, that's the front of the house, left elevation, left side, so on and so forth. It's going to break everything down by labor and material for each component. Sometimes people will call us after they've made an insurance claim and they'll say, hey, can you come out and give us a quote for our insurance company? If the damage is straightforward and it's just shingles, siding, windows, doors, things of that nature, the adjuster actually does a whole report as to what the insurance company is going to pay out for that claim. So sometimes, most times, you actually don't need to get quotes before you get this report back from the adjuster. So they'll have everything in here as far as like each side of the house, each slope of the roof, every component that goes into the roof, the underlayments, the drip edge, all these things are going to be in here itemized out by the linear feet or square feet or what the adjuster's estimated that's going to be required. Part of this that can be really confusing is you've got these different columns, and each of these columns means something, and it's important. So the way that insurance companies decide what they're going to pay for the work that needs to be done to repair your home is they have a system, and there's really two systems that they use. One is called Exactament and one's called Symbility. And the adjusters use those softwares to assemble the pricing based on averages for the zip code as to what those items cost. So what they will do is they'll say, okay, this is the cost to replace shingles in this zip code. And they put that data into this column called RCV. So this is the first important acronym that we need to talk about. RCV stands for Replacement Cost Value. There are two types of insurance policies that you can get in general for your home or your property. There is an actual cash value policy and a replacement cost value policy. Most homeowners have a replacement cost policy. There are some situations where you might not have one. That's something I would say talk to your insurance agent about. Make sure you have the coverage that you think you have or think you need, and what your agent recommends. So I defer to insurance agents to help the client understand which type of policy they should have. But in short, replacement cost value policies are to cover whatever it costs to replace the items that are damaged to make them whole. So that's what this column here on the left side typically has in the report. It's going to be replacement cost value. They're going to have all the totals by wall, by product type, and so on, and they're going to accumulate and add up all the way down at the end for a total on the last summary page that's going to say replacement cost value totals or line item totals. So they'll have that added up, and there will be a dollar amount that says, okay, we think it's going to take $20,000 to repair this damage. Then as we move across the page, they've got tax on there, which is a sales tax on any materials that are estimated. Then there's this column called depreciation. It's usually abbreviated DEPREC. And what the depreciation is they're saying, okay, the siding that was damaged on your house or the roofing that was damaged on your house, it was not brand new. It was 20 years old. It was halfway through its expected life. The products that were on your home to replace them is going to cost $20,000, but they've decreased in value by, and we're going to use really round numbers just to make this easy. It's decreased in value by $7,000 over the last 20 years. Your roof's 20 years old, your siding's 20 years old. The value of those products has gone down because they're not brand new by this amount. So on your summary page, they're going to take the depreciation out, and the math also works left to right where the depreciation is removed. And the final column is called ACV. So ACV means actual cash value. So the actual cash value is what the insurance company is saying, as of today, the value of the work that needs to be done minus the depreciation is, say, for example, $13,000. Now, where this frustrates a lot of people is they see their paperwork, they look at it, and they look at this number and they say, oh no, what am I going to do? I need to do $20,000 worth of work. The insurance company's only given me $13,000 to work with. With a replacement cost policy, that's not the entire story. So the way this works is the insurance company will give you the ACV, the actual cash value, minus your deductible. So say deductible. Say it's $1,000 again for easy math. So they will give you the ACV minus the deductible up front. So they would, in this scenario, they would write you a check for $12,000. Then, after the work is done, your contractor submits the final invoice that matches the insurance report to the insurance company, documenting photos showing that the work's been done. There may be some details that the adjuster is going to require specifically, like showing that the roof was completely removed, that the proper underlayments were installed according to code, so on and so forth. Once all that documentation is received by the insurance company will write a check for the total of RCV or the final invoice, whichever is less, minus the deductible, minus the depreciation. So in this scenario, say you have a $1,000 deductible, the insurance company would give you $12,000 up front to get the project going, and then they would cut the balance of the depreciation at the end, which would bring your total up to $19,000 to work with for your project. The deductible is part of your policy. If you want a lower deductible, that's something to talk about with your agent. You know, there's different policies with different deductibles, and that's something that they can explain to you, the pros and cons of each way. Obviously, policies with lower deductibles are going to cost more. Higher deductibles, the policy is going to cost less. So another thing that I wanted to cover with this is when you get this report, sometimes human beings make mistakes. Adjusters can make mistakes. I've found that most adjusters out there are just like you and me. They want to do a good job. They work hard to take care of their clients, but every once in a while something gets missed. Your contractor that you choose to do your project should sit down with you, review the report, and make sure that all the items are in there that you feel or see that were damaged. If there's any discrepancies between the damage that you see and the adjuster sees, most adjusters are just open to having a conversation about that. There's lots of recourse for any discrepancies or disagreements that come up. There's a lot of legal protections for clients. So don't feel like you're trapped with what was spelled out the first time around. Again, most adjusters do a really good job of getting all the information in here that's needed, but mistakes do happen. And so don't feel like it's a contentious situation that we need to argue with the adjuster or position ourselves to be belligerent or anything like that. If you just take photos, document the damage of things that were missed, you can send that over to the adjuster, and typically, like I said, it's a very open conversation. Everyone wants to work together to make sure that your home is in good shape and that we've complied with everything that's spelled out in your policy. So again, these reports are a little bit confusing. I hope this helps bring some clarity. If you're in our area and you need help working through an insurance claim for the exterior of your home and you have damage to your roof, siding, deck, or fence, we'd be happy to help with that. Our process is we work with the adjuster to make sure that all the damage is documented, and then before we move forward with anything, we sit down with you and we explain what this report means and the details of how it affects you and your home. So if you have any questions on any of this, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.